What's up guys, Stock Catcher here. In this video I'm going to be going over a lot of stocks as usual. Today was really nice price action compared to yesterday. Yesterday was definitely more choppy, but the day before yesterday was really nice. So that's the thing about trading. Sometimes it's really easy to trade, sometimes it's more hard, and that's just the nature, right? So if you're new to the channel, my name is Stock Catcher. I share trade ideas live on StockTwits and Twitter every day in real time, and I also make daily YouTube videos just trying to help people, right? And I had a lot of people request that I make like a Discord, but honestly, I'm not really a fan of Discord, as well as there's a lot of more potential in YouTube in terms of growth and in terms of just the, dilution, right? In terms of Discord, there's just so many out there that I think YouTube is the way to go. And YouTube, there's like on Google, they search, there's 2.5 billion people that use it every month who are active compared to Discord, where there's only like 100 something million. So YouTube is the way, in my opinion. And also I'm gonna make a way there so that people could also share the trade ideas, and it's gonna be interactive. It's gonna be fun, in my opinion, right? With the stickers, and it's gonna be fun. And in terms of price, I know a lot of YouTubers, you could check yourself, they charge like hundreds, thousands, even dollars. And I think it's insane, in my opinion. Honestly, and I have nothing against them, and I'm not saying it's bad, but me personally, I'm gonna do like the bare minimum. I'm only gonna charge like very little, like maybe $5 or 10, around 5 to 10, around there. And the reason I'm doing that is not because I need $5, is because if I only charge like $1, or like if I make it free, then I'm 100% sure there's gonna be a lot of spammers. There's gonna be a lot of, like trolls. There's gonna be people, way too much people chatting, so it's gonna be like crazy, right? So you wanna have that sort of like barrier, like a little bit. And I said in my StockTwist that nothing's gonna change. I'm not gonna stop posting free trade ideas on StockTwist, Twitter, and YouTube. It's not gonna change at all. You promise that. Where I'm gonna do the same exact thing. The only difference is that the people that really want to, they could do this, right? Because I'm telling you guys, if it was just one person, I would just ignore it. But I see every single day people asking for this, and to the point where people literally give money to scammers. Like I see people who try to impersonate me. This is a true story, and I think some people even got scammed. Maybe, I don't know, but you gotta be really careful, guys, about these impersonators. Always look for the verification badge on my Twitter, as well as StockTwits. I pay for the verification, like the symbol, right? So yeah, that's why I'm making it. It's because there's so many people want it. So I think it's gonna be fun. And I'm gonna start posting it probably tomorrow morning if I set it up. And for the first few weeks, it's gonna be open to everybody. But maybe in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I'm gonna have it only for members, right? So yeah, look forward to that, guys. It's gonna be fun, in my opinion. And a lot of people are gonna enjoy it, in my opinion, right? So today there was a lot of runners. First stock today, BGLC. This one I mentioned it, and right around 550 or 6. It was between 550, around there. And then this stock just ended up making a massive move up to almost $10 a share. It went from 550 to 6 to 945. That's a $4 move almost, right? And if you check out the stock stats, what do you notice about the stock? It's a micro float. I say in my videos that any stock under 10 million float is micro float. This stock at 800K float, which is really, really tiny when you think about supply demand. Like in terms of economic, if there's less shares, if the float is tinier, most of the time the moves are really nice, right? So BGLC, this one, I think it had news where it started to have a lot of volume. I say in my videos every day that volume is key. And then I also said in my previous videos is that just because you miss a first move up, where when I mention a stock, that doesn't mean it's done, or that there's no more further opportunity, right, to trade. Because this stock, once it made that move up, and you can check yourself, it had multiple chances where you could have traded off of the dip, maybe VWAP. You could have traded the technical pattern. You could have traded, the trend riding. There's a lot of methods, right? So BGLC was a very, very nice trade. Next one, REPL. This one I mentioned it, I think a couple days ago, or was it like a few days ago, where I said it was like a cap bounce opportunity. And if you don't know what that is, that's basically when a stock makes a big drop of about 80%, sometimes more. And then what ends up happening is it ends up bouncing just off a technical reason, or just because the volume enters, right? So REPL, this one made a really massive move. Looking at it right now, it ran all the way to 774, new highs actually, just a couple minutes ago. And this stock is similar to ALT. If you look that stock up, ALT did the same exact thing where it made a big drop, and then after that it followed a really nice bounce and actually ran multi-day. So REPL, looking at it right now, it looks really good, and the volume is really high as well. So this was another winning nice idea. Next one, WLGS. This one, a lot of people message me about it, and I understand it's like a popular micro penny. It's kind of like a meme at this point, right? Just WLGS stock. And this one is a Chinese penny, right? If I'm not mistaken. So this one I mentioned it early, and it made a really massive move up to 15 cent. In terms of percentage wise, it's really big, but then ended up pulling back. And then right now it's trying to hold that 5 cent key psychological area, which is really important when it comes to micro pennies, in my opinion, those 5 cent intervals. Because when it comes to higher price stocks, right, when you're talking about stocks that are like $1, $2, it's more about quarter intervals, like 225, 250, $3 hold dollar levels. But when it comes to micro pennies, these 5 cent levels are really key. I remember HCTI, and I remember what was the other one, Gibbo. I mentioned it right at that areas, and then ended up just pulling away really nicely. I had some people mention to me that they had further micro pennies. So if you guys have any more suggestions on micro pennies or any stocks in general, you could always tag me. I'm very active on social media. I check my posts every day, and I'm gonna reply and even make a video maybe, right? So that was WLJS. Next one, IMNN. This one, micro floater. I mentioned it right in the early time, the pre-market, and then ripping like a couple dollars immediately. So this is what I said yesterday or the day before. When it comes to low float, especially in pre-market, if you're not really experienced, I recommend you stick more to higher float stock. And everything I say in my video is not financial advice. It's just my opinion. Every video I say that. But I recommend you stick more to those multi-day setup or those other setups, right? Or those high float stock, because these stocks move really quick, and that's just the nature of it. I'm not like a wizard or anything. It's just that the supply and demand concept, right? I said earlier. So this stock, I mentioned it around, I think it was like 870. It ran to 1240. That's a huge jump. That's like almost a $4 move in just a minute. So if you had like 1,000 shares, that's $4,000, right? So this one, IMNN, looking at it right now, actually, it is trying to start to curl over and try to create a technical setup. So this one is a micro floater. You want to keep an eye on this. Immunon. It's about. Next one, Wing. This one was a larger cap stock, right? Larger cap means like stocks like Apple, Tesla, Google, Amazon. This one is a Wingstop, right? The chicken wing company. And I think I had this actually once in the past in real life. And the wings weren't, actually, no, they're pretty good, I think. But this stock made a crazy move up. So this stock, I mentioned it in the pre-market around like 320, I think 325. And then it just ripped face all the way to $375. That's massive. And these strategies I'm mentioning every day on YouTube and stock tweets, they don't just apply to small caps, they apply to large caps as well. So I just said a few minutes ago, if you're more into those slower, you're not really like risky type of trades, right? You don't really like those low float setup. You could trade larger caps as well. Like you see everyday opportunities such as Wingstop. And remember that time I mentioned Kohl's and those larger companies, right? They also make the same exact price at those type of breakouts. So Wingstop, damn, this was a really good play. I mean, this stock just went straight up, and then now it's trying to hold, consolidate. So this one was nice. Next one, I had a lot of people talk about Fubo. This was the same situation as earlier. I talked about Wingstop and all those more larger market cap stocks, right? Not those micro floater, low floats. So this one, I believe, is a short squeeze angle to it. I remember I talked about this a week ago. Remember that time during Kohl's, the donut, Krispy Kreme, Beyond Meat. Remember that time? That was like a week ago. And this one, I believe, was on that list on Finviz. I gave a website recommendation, not sponsored, where finviz.com is a website I use every single day to look for stocks. And it's free to use. And you could search up the settings and make some really good stock picks. So this one, I believe, is a short squeeze angle. And looking at it right now, this is also a multi-day setup. So this one respected that hold our level $4 and it just ripping face. Right now, I'm really watching it, just making new highs. So this one going all the way to 435. Fubo, really nice pick. I know a lot of people messaging me on this. So next one is SUPX, SUPX. This one I mentioned it in pre-market right at that first big initial volume, right? I mentioned once that $20 psychological level broke, and then it just ended up ripping face to 25, which is a $5 move. So that's really good. And then it ended up after the open making a nice opportunity again. If you remember what I said earlier in the video, right? Just because the stock makes a big move up and then goes down, that doesn't mean it's done. A lot of people think, like, their opinion that it's like crash, it's like over. But that's not true at all, in my opinion, because if you look every day, stock reclaims, not just reclaim, but it also has this kind of like zombie bounce type of opportunities where if a stock falls a lot, especially after a pre-market spike, you're gonna see opportunity, right? So this stock ended up just going after open from 1640 after that 200 moving average broke. It ran all the way to 2964. That's a, what is that, $13 move? That's insane. 1K share, 13,000 bucks in like an hour. And again, everything I say is not financial advice. I'm just trying to share range and on potential, right? In trading, I'm not saying that you're gonna catch the bottom and so the top. So SUPX is a low floater, 9 million float. So the move up was really quick. And I think this halted up as well once or twice. And then if you use the halt strategy I mentioned in my videos as well, there was another opportunity on that side as well. I think it halted at 24, or it's at 24.95, and then it went up to 20, almost 30 bucks. So that's a really good opportunity on SUPX. And this is one of those more expensive stocks. When you trade more of expensive stocks, you gotta expect level 2. If you use the tape, right, the bid and the ask, most of the time it's gonna be more spready. What that means is that, for example, if this stock is trading at $20 and then the bid is 20 and then the ask is likely gonna be higher, like let's say like 21 or 20.85 or 22 even, because this is the thing, like when it comes to cheaper stock, most of the time the spread is tighter. And that's just how it is. For example, if a stock is trading at $2, most of the time you see, for example, the bid at 2 and then the ask is like at 205. You know what I mean? So this was really nice. So next one, Peloton. There's just a lot of larger cap stocks today that are moving really nice and easy trend. So this one I mentioned it because in pre-market, in the morning time, I've been noticing like unusual volume. And then Peloton is just going on a very nice uptrend. And this is one of those more popular stocks that has a lot of attention and people talking about it. That's in the more larger cap space, right? Similar to those stocks I mentioned earlier, was it Fubo and Wingstop, right? The similar type of sphere. So Peloton, looking at it right now, I heard a bearish angle on this as well as bullish angle. I don't know if you guys use any of the services Peloton, but I saw on YouTube many people making videos on this. So this one I definitely want to monitor as well. Next one, Archon. This one I mentioned right before the open. I said this was a cat bounce type of opportunity, if you know what that means. That's when a stock makes a drop, like a big drop, and then it provides opportunity for a technical bounce. And this happens almost every time, not 100% of the time, but I'd say 80% of the time, where a stock falls a lot, and then you see a nice bounce. And that's a really nice low risk type of setup, because think about it, the way up is bigger than the way down, right? If you use the technical chart. So Archon, this one made a really nice bounce opportunity. I think it was like the move was actually $1, which is really good. So if you use a couple hundred shares, that's a couple $100, right? The dollar bounce. And this is also a low floater as well. So yeah, as you see, guys, there's a lot of trade ideas every single day. And you guys also find really good trade ideas as well, which is why I'm going to be making that YouTube soon. Yeah, and it's going to be nice in my opinion, guys. So next one, D-Pro, Dragonfly. This one I mentioned it many times, where this was a multi-day setup. This is more the drone stock, right? D-Pro. And when you notice about the drone stock, especially nowadays with the wars going on around this world and a lot of conflict, there's a lot of opportunity, right, as us traders or investors to capitalize on price action. And D-Pro is right now, as watching the stock, it's actually starting to set up kind of multi-day type of setup. Ideally, you want to see that big psychological level hold over $5, and then you can see continuation for this stock. This is also a lower float stock. I mentioned in the past, this one only has 18 million float. Anything under 30 million is low float in my opinion. Some people say it has to be under 10, but based off my experience, anything under 30 moves like a low float. I've been doing stock like many years now, so I'm just saying my experience. So D-Pro, this is really nice. Next one, there's only a few more stocks. Next one, ATNF. This one I mentioned it near the open, and then I made a really nice move up. This is another example of multi-day setup. If you could look yourself and look at the extended time frame, don't just look at the 1 minute chart when you're trading, in my opinion. You want to zoom out as well often when you're trading every day. Look at the daily chart, look at the 1 hour chart. And as you see on ATNF, it looks really beautiful, like it's trying to form the hourly setup. And looking at it right now, it looks good, and the volume is nice as well. I think this stock had news today. I gotta check later, but this stock, looking technically wise, is looking nice. So next one, XBP. This one I mentioned it right at the time it was starting to move, right? XBP, now I mentioned it before that. I said it was thin. So I had some people ask me, what does thin mean? So I said many times in my videos, when a stock is thin, when I say it's thin, that means that it's just really lower volume, right? So basically, if it just has a little volume, it can move a lot. And this goes in both directions. So it's not just on the upside, where if it has a little amount of selling, it could also go down a lot. So when it comes to thin stock, in my opinion, you really want to manage your risk. And I say this every day, but you really want to protect your capital, right? You don't want to go big size on a thin stock because, like I said, if it drops, then it's gonna drop a massive, right? Because it doesn't really have a lot of supporting, the candle. So XBP, this one moved a lot. It just went straight up, and even if you missed that initial thin trade idea, you could have traded it on the uptrend, right? Because this stock just kept riding that 90 MA, and it was just really nice. Next one, AACG. This one also another example of a thin stock. I mentioned it after the open, and then it's just making a really nice move. It's up 20% on the day right now, 21% actually. So AACG, I believe, is a Chinese stock. I think those education stock, if I remember, from many years ago. And this stock, these type of stocks, these China companies, they make really weird, like big moves oftentimes. So you really want to keep an eye not just on this one, but other Chinese or Singapore or those type of, that type of sector, right? So let me know if you see any stocks as well. So next one, BHVN. This one is a more expensive stock, as I mentioned earlier, right? Just because stock has higher float doesn't mean it's not going to go up. This stock has close to 100 million float, which will not be low float. But it's making a really nice move because it's all about volume, guys. This stock had really strong volume. You could check yourself where it just upticked like crazy. It just kept going vertical. And then the stock right now is just holding those key levels. So this was a really nice win as well. BHVN. Next one is VWAV. This one I mentioned it many times actually before the move even happened. Remember that time? It was like few days ago. I mentioned it in the pre-market, and then it just ended up going all the way like crazy to like 12.59 all the way from the beginning when it was cheap. And today made a really big multi-day setup opportunity. If you've been remembering the multi-day setup, right? VWAV made a big pop after that continued consolidation over the previous trading session. It made a move up all the way from 670, 635, all the way to 1186. That's a big move, guys. So if you study the multi-day setups, it could be really nice, profitable wise, right? So those are all the stocks, and there was more, but I can't go over all of them. And like I said, guys, I'm gonna be doing that live stream, YouTube starting tomorrow. I'm gonna plan it out. Maybe it'll be the day after tomorrow, but I think it should be tomorrow. And like I said, that it's gonna be open to everybody, but within maybe like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it's gonna be closed only to members. And again, I'm not doing this to get the $5. It's more so because people really want it, and it's also a way for people to. I mean, it's also a way for me to eliminate like those spammers or those those trolls that like that's gonna spam the chat. So that's why I need like a barrier. So it's like 5 to 10. It's gonna be maybe like 8. I don't know. I'll think about it, but it's definitely not gonna be like like crazy. And those people that make charge like hundreds of dollars, thousands. So look forward to that, guys. And again, nothing's gonna change. I'm gonna be the same person on StockTwist Twitter. I'm not gonna just like the people that pay $5. I'm always gonna be that person that just trying to help people. And you're gonna see you guys. StockTwist Twitter. I'm gonna post every day, same way, same time. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys have a great day. And the markets, small caps are crazy lately. It reminds me of those the couple years ago. Remember during that time, the 20. So yeah, guys, let's bank. Let's do good, guys. Stock